Hello and welcome back. Now, there was something I said I was going to explain when we came to adding our routes, and I think I will just take this few minutes to explain, and it's related to the API endpoint. Now, if you notice with our route, the seller by ID, I added /ID / seller ID, and then seller by username, I added /username / username, and then random sellers / random, and the verbs, they are all get HTTP verbs. Okay, so the reason why I added this is simply because of how the routes are called. Okay, so let me show you how I defined it earlier. So I will just open a new file right here. So for the first for this first seller by ID, this was how I defined the routes. I used this router, and then it was something like this: auth / or rather seller / here it was :seller ID, router.get get. Why am I making this mistake? .get. Okay, and then you add your callback. Okay, this is just a text, and then I did the same for seller.get, and then this was username, and then the last one was random. Okay, random. So this was how I defined the route. And this, because of the way I defined it earlier, I got some I was getting some bugs that it took me a while for me to figure it out. Okay, so what happens is, because these three, you can see they almost look similar. Okay, even though it's seller / seller / username, seller / random. What happens is, for the router itself, if you make a request, okay, if you make a request to this first route and then you call seller, then / you add the seller's name, it will just check the first route. Okay, the first route, it will be something like this. It will be something like this: /seller / money, for example. So this is the seller name. It will check the route, and then this route will match, and then it will call the callback. Okay, and now if you try to call, maybe use the random, maybe I think this is just /, okay, without the colon. Now if you want to call this random route, okay, so what is going to happen is, because this seller is dynamic, okay, because the seller is dynamic, what is going to happen if you call this /seller / random, the router will always match it to the first route because they look similar. Okay, this is a dynamic property. Okay, so it will just always return the callback for this first route because that is what it's going to match it to. Okay, so I had an issue whereby I was calling this function, but it was always returning calling the callback for this. It took me a while before I was able to figure it out. Okay, so in order to fix it, because if this was a put, then it was not going to be a problem. Okay, but since they all have HTTP gets, so in order to fix this, so that or if you call /seller / username, maybe you use it will always match it to the first route because they all look the same. Okay, it will always match it to the first route. So in order to fix this issue, you can just add, that was why I added ID here, I added username here. Okay, so here now it's going to be ID / then the seller name, and then the other one is going to be username. So if I call this, okay, and then the third one is just going to be /random. Okay, so that's the reason why the seller by ID, I have this /ID, the seller by username, I have this /username. Okay, because of the issue that I experienced, it took me it was really frustrating for me because I was just checking and I couldn't figure out why was I getting this issue. And I checked the API gateway, I checked the services until I just figured out, okay, so that was the problem. It was always reading because they looked the same. Okay, so I just wanted to point it out in case you want to define your own routes, so you don't make same mistake, and then it will just you will just have some hard to debug bugs in your code.